The Russia-Ukraine war will enter its 9th month. Thousands of military casualties from both sides. First fighting took place in major cities in Ukraine. Russia took major territories in Ukraine, but Russia was pushed back very recently and key cities were retaken by the Ukrainian armed forces, like the cities of Izium and Kupiansk, which cover an area of roughly around 5,000 square kilometers. But what are the three horsemen of military success behind the Ukrainian forces? I'm your host Isev, and welcome to Defense and Geopolitics. First is the Ukrainian artillery. Ukraine has received hundreds of artillery systems from NATO members like the US, Germany, France and other NATO countries. And on top of that, tens of millions of dollars of ammunition for these systems. Now these have been the main and most crucial part of damage for the Ukrainian military. The Ukrainian armed forces are using the new precision-guided artillery rounds supplied by the US, which are likely the M982 Excalibur. The new precision-guided shells will save ammunition and will have a very great accuracy, which is vital in the battlefield. Another form of shells, which are the ones most supplied to Ukraine, are the laser-guided shells. The Ukrainian drones spot Russian vehicles, then sparkle them with a laser turned to a specific wavelength, say 830 nanometers, which produces a red beam that's barely visible to the naked eye, but is plainly visible to the seeker heads on guided shells with steerable fins. The Ukrainian army possesses at least one type of laser-guided shell, the 152mm diameter Kvitnik, which is compatible with the Army's 2S3 self-propelled howitzers and the D20 Taut guns. A Ukrainian firm also developed a laser-guided 122mm shell called Karasuk that works with the Army's D30 Taut guns and the 2S1 tracked howitzers. Any drone or spotter on the ground with the laser designator can sparkle the target. These types of munitions are the ones having most impact on the battlefield. The second weapon is of course the HIMARS, but just like the artillery and howitzers, in order to have more survivability, these systems need to fire and relocate quickly to avoid being destroyed. The HIMARS are having a great impact on the battlefield. The HIMARS are using the M30A1 missiles with a range of up to 90 kilometers, which are the ones most supplied to Ukraine with an insane accuracy radius of around 5 meters. These systems are really mobile, fast and makes them perfect to fire and relocate and repeat the process, which makes them very hard to hit. The third weapon is of course the military drones, and to be specific, the Bayraktar TB2. The Turkish drones have proven some significant combat success in Ukraine and in Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict previously. Tens of these machines have been supplied to Ukraine, with their effectiveness and cheap price of around $5 million makes these machines very worthwhile. The war in Ukraine has demonstrated that the TB2 operators can absorb high rates of attrition, but they can quickly replenish stockpiles of the drones to keep the aircraft in the air. TB2s can also be flown in ways that confuse fighters devoted to shooting them down. In Ukraine, according to interviews with people familiar with the air picture, Ukrainian TB2 operators would fly at less than 1,000 feet. That is, in order to get lost in the ground clutter and hide from patrolling fighters. In areas where Russian ground forces and accompanying ground-based surface-to-air missiles were thinly dispersed, the TB2 would use the terrain to hide from long-range acquisitions of radars, and then pop up and strike targets of convenience. In areas where Russian defenses have been built up, the TB2 would fly out of range of Russian missiles, and then support artillery strikes or scout for the Ukrainian ground forces using its powerful optics to see far out on the battlefield. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Tell us in the comments below what would you like to see next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.